pleased to say we're joined in the studio by our defence and security analyst, Professor Michael Clarke. As we saw there with John Sparks reporting, and it's on the Sky News website, drones have really been a game changer when it comes to the battlefield and the war in Ukraine.
Yes, I mean, game changer is a funny word because wars are never won by one technology, but it's certainly new. I mean, there's two respects. One is very new, one isn't. I mean, that is the basis of what we're looking at now is a Shahed drone, which are these very cheap Iranian drones. I mean, they're $20,000 each, maybe 50,000 at most. And it was the fact that they could be produced in mass. And the Russians have upgraded these now to jet engine drones, the Jiran 3 as they call it, or the Shahed 238 in Iranian terms. And the point is they can use lots of them. Now, that's not conceptually new. It's just that they've got lots more aircraft in the air doing things that aircraft do. But what's conceptually new is what John Sparks was talking about there, is the little drones, the little FPV, the first-person view drones. I mean, these things, say, they're like aircraft.
Yeah.
And they do the same job as aircraft, except in the case of the Shaheds, they're suicide drones. So they make one trip, generally speaking, and blow themselves up, kamikaze stuff. But the small ones, those are conceptually new because they sort of dominate the airspace below, say, 2,000 feet. And this is where it makes it impossible for soldiers to move around on the battlefield safely. So they're doing the same job as artillery shells, pinning down an enemy. And the fact is, they're cleverer than artillery shells because an artillery shell goes where it goes and the troops on the ground take their chances. They dig in and just take their chances, hope for the best. But if a drone picks you up and there's somebody else on the end of it who's watching, then it can follow you into your dugout and explode. And so they create it's a different level of terror, which makes it very hard for individuals to move around on the battlefield. And they get very frightened. As soon as they hear the little buzz, it's almost like a bee buzz, they worry that somebody's picked them up. And then the chance is not great. And the best thing against them, the best defence anyone on the ground has got, is a shotgun. Simply try to pepper the thing with shot when it's 50 feet away, but that's a bit of a last hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Given all of that context then, where are we on the battleground? What's the situation that you've been reading? Well,
the drone war has reached this new level at the moment, this year actually, only the last 12 months, 15 months, which is making movement on the ground very difficult. And it's making it almost impossible for armoured vehicles to move around, except in conditions of great danger. So it's helped to create this very fluid front line where both sides have got pockets of men, as it were, interspersed in an area that could be anything from 5 kilometres wide to about 40 kilometres wide, reputedly, in some parts of the battlefield. And what that means is that the war has gone down to a very interpersonal, very vicious battle between men on the ground who can only move around in certain ways and can't be supplied very easily. So people have been dropped into a forward position with a certain amount of food and ammunition. And then they hope that the drones can supply them after 72 hours or 120 hours, whatever it is. And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Now, that can't go on forever, but that's where we are at the moment. And it means that on the ground, the Russians are still slogging forward, but are not getting very far, even though they're pushing hard this week against Pokrovsk and Dobropilya. But they're probably not going to succeed. My own guess is that there won't be any big movement on the ground from now till the end of the winter. I may be wrong, but I don't think the Russians can actually produce a strategic offensive. And the Ukrainians can't really do more than keep holding their ground. They're holding it pretty well, but they're tired. They're overmatched in numbers. They're running out of troops. They've got their ammunition's coming through a bit better now. But there's only so long armies can keep slogging away without any rest and rehabilitation in order to just renew themselves and renew their units. So the Ukrainians are fighting very well, but they're getting exhausted.
OK. Professor Michael Clarke, thank you so much.